And soup. Just pulled my mic in front of my face. Feels good, man. I'm also not prepared with the music. I'm out of it. Obviously, we're starting earlier than normal. So, there's that. Let me just get some handy-dandy Pokemon music that we normally listen to. There we go. This should be fine. Sounds like it will be relatively fine. Now, I am not prepared in the slightest for today's stream. But we're doing it earlier. Certainly nicer. And, you know, as soon as I load this game, you know there's going to be noise. So I apologize. Pause that. Do that. Load that. Do that. Now, we're covering today the first game of the day. GAM and R7. Best of 3. It's an interesting one to say the least. Excuse me. So, let's get into the opening games today. There we go. Just getting to the right spot on the broadcast. And boom. Why am I so big? Hang on. We need to just change that a little bit. We'll get into draft first. There we go. I'll also move my camera over a little bit, or I'll move myself. Regardless, draft has begun. We are getting into the thick of it, shall we say. Starting with Ori, Rumble, Sedge, and Poppy removed from the board. Rel is up, Maokai is up, Zyre is up. There's some good options here for both teams to go towards. And, you know, if you know me, I preface the jungle bans. Maokai is going to be removed from the board. Lee Sin is a pick that I think may even be looked at here. Jarvan as well. There's some good options here, but it's actually going to be the Akali removed from Miryu's pull. Don't want to give him a strong comfort pick. That seems to be the idea from GAM. Now, first rotation sees Bong locking in the Rel, kind of standard. You are giving up the Lovers duo, though, and this is where things start to get interesting if you are GAM, because you've got the option for some good picks here. R7, though, gonna shut down that flex. Rel comes through in the first rotation. Second sees the Jarvan. They've just killed all mystery with their draft, and I think that's a bit of a disappointment overall for how they have played this one. As for GAM, I like it going for the Asante here, though I would rather see a jungle lock-in get that in. Levi, known for his Lee Sin, I think would be a good pick for him to go for. Into Jarvan, you really have to be agile, dodging out the flying drags. We already commented on this champion's insanely low CDR the later the game goes. Some flying drags will be coming out very thick and fast. Second ban phase, you probably will see a lot of targeting towards mid lane. Granted, Kaiser can be flexed between mid and bot. It's not the most obvious of flexes, but it's still there. R7 removing the Lee Sin, kind of expected. Something Levy, as I've said, has played. Or Levi, we should probably pronounce his name correctly. Second ban from GAM, I'm thinking maybe Azir, something control mage heavy. Syndra also are open. Just deny some options and allow Caddy to play a bit more of an aggressive mid lane assassin-esque pick. Ari, good option overall to be banned out, and removes that sort of control mage. It's also very agile, and considering the draft R7 have, Ahri would have been very good in terms of fitting in. The response though, the Vi coming through from R7 basically puts Levi in a bit of a difficult situation in terms of good jungle picks. Now, ideally I would have thought maybe even going for the Sejuani would have been okay here, but hey, that's going to be the Wukong coming through. There's obviously Renekton somehow still open, made its way through the first phase. Kind of expect that to be locked in here. It just has seen so much play and is very, very strong right now. However, it's actually going to be the Gwen, and I like this overall, because this kind of means that Miryu can go for a more AD-esque champion in the mid lane. Tristana, a champion that hasn't really seen play, and that's probably because it's fallen off here at Worlds due to the patches, but I still think it could be a good option. It's actually going to be the Sylas, and this is kind of throwing the gauntlet down onto Caddy, because he hasn't looked comfortable during this tournament so far in the 2 games sample size we've got. So forcing him into not an actual scrappy matchup, or trying to force him into that, is what R7 are doing. But GAM have responded. They've gone for a bit more of a control mage style with the Syndra coming in. I like it. It negates how they want to... It negates the kind of bait that R7 threw down. Movistar, Rainbow 7, as they're actually called. But yeah, this draft overall from GAM, very good at responding to how R7 play. I think that they've got good, like, counter-engage with their champs. A lot of dodging with the Rakan and also the Cassante, so as well as technically the Wukong. But they've got a lot of ways to play around how R7 have drafted, who, let's be honest, have gone full aggression. They're wanting to scrap early and get kills. Sylas insane scaling as the game goes on as well. So they've realistically drafted a well-oiled comp, R7. But I would say they've still actually won this draft. I think the champions, the utility they have, are very strong right now. From the sample size we've seen at Worlds, there's some good picks. And you have to feel, if R7 are able to make it to late game, they should be the favoured team. Even though there is a Cassante who does 3,000, has 3,000 health, 185 attack damage with 1Q. It's a very strong champ, as Rel's going to catch the Wukong out. Levi already burnt low, the Ignite ticking, and he somehow gets away. I don't even know how low his health bar was, but that is lucky for the GAM jungler. He did burn Flash. I thought they would have got him with the Ignite. It looked like it was put on, like, late, so I thought it would have ticked him down. However, it does not. I think he survives on, like, 5 HP. That is very unlucky if you are the Gigabyte Marines. Well, lucky if you're the Gigabyte Marines. Unlucky if you're R7, who we were saying need to make these early plays. And right now, dare I say it, they could quite easily be in a situation where they're not doing good. But yeah, they're not in that position just yet, as I apologize for me fixing my webcam. I upped the quality of it. There we go. Now I look fairly decent in the bottom corner. So, as things stand, we're 2 minutes into the game. Jungle starts fairly even, both crossing over to their red buffed sides. Actually, no, Jarvan's quite slow, it appears. He's falling behind the clear. Never mind. Levi skipped his Gromp and gone straight over to his red side jungle. So this leads me to think that he wants to answer the aggression Gwen gets early to allow Kiaya to make some sort of plays to get to an even point. And with Cassante, he's then able to do a lot more damage. He's able to sustain through what the Gwen wants to do. I like this overall for the Wukong because if you make top balanced for you, it means you don't have to spend as much time in the top side and you can focus in towards this bot lane. Because let's be honest, you look at the playmaking tools GAM have down there, it's kind of where the focus should be. Now, this is a great gank coming out from Modi, as the Scatter Weak does not push the Javelin away far enough, and the ticking from the red buff absolutely deletes Mirio as a re-engage comes through from R7. Oh no, Levi, he is killed off in response. He went way too aggressive in that 2v1. And R7 get 2 early kills and first blood, and both of them go into the Silas. Ain't that nice for him? Now, R7 as a whole, they're going to be very happy about that. Obviously, getting kills is good, but the fact is, why is CEO got a JDG? I got that emote. That's so weird. But essentially, it's very beneficial for him to have these early kills because Hylos' scaling is so insane, and we haven't really discussed this yet as Gwen going aggressive, snipping through the Cassante health bar. You look at the actual summoner spells that ultimates GAM have, the ability to go all out in your own right. Wukong ultimate, very strong. Syndra and Zyra also very strong. Even the quickness, just for a bit of extra movement speed, is a fairly decent spell. Especially considering you can pull targets, charm them towards you. It's a nice combination. And this gank was very well done by Odi. That flag and drag buffered through the Scattered Weak allows him to get the kill. He even tanks the tower so that Silas can get out alive. Because let's be honest, if Javan did not tank that, Silas was falling in a 1-for-1 trade. Here, it's just good aggro balancing of Levi. So you're able to get the kill off of that. And now, surprising pallet stayed. It's kind of a weird one. However, he could be caught out here. Going to be jumped on. Pallet taken quite low. Force the grand entrance away. He would have almost died there because Javelin was in the area. Now, what I will say is, this matchups that we are seeing, I'm surprised how well they're going in favor of R7 right now. Like, don't get me wrong, they are behind CS in a couple of lanes, but they're still playing very even. They're keeping the pressure on. Big issue for them is they haven't actually cracked into any towers just yet. And, you know, they don't need to rush that. Obviously, 6 minutes on the clock. First resets coming through across the board. Herald up in a minute 30. You're going to be seeing these supports and junglers heading up to this top half of the map. When the Herald's secured, that's probably when we start to see more turret aggression, more plating falling, you name it. And that probably will be where the R7 squad get a little bit more aggressive. They want to play for this objective. And with it, they would be able to essentially maintain mid control, I think. Probably would be the most ideal place to put it. To keep feeding the Silas gold. To make it so he can have just insane damage. Insane sustain with the Kingslayer, I believe it is, the W. I forget the names of the ability, so apologize. As Grand Entrance gets stunned and denied by the Rel. R7 positioning aggressive, trying to get a little bit more damage down onto the GAM bot lane. Level 6 comes through for Slater. He should be able to play a bit more aggressive now with that extra layer of safety. And what do you know? R7 playing respectfully, backing up, knowing full well that he can go for this play as the engage comes through from the Rel. Ignite used. That's going to be the root call of use, and Cleanse comes through, and actually a massive 2v2 kill goes over to Slater. We knew he was going to be able to play a bit more aggressive, but I wasn't expecting that quickness in aggression. The big important thing is they're able to translate this into an Infernal Drake for the team. Jarvan took the back, isn't in a position to respond. The interesting thing is, Rel is pathing upwards towards this Herald that's just spawned, so R7 are kind of posturing to go make a play for this objective, and I kind of feel that's a smart thing to do. As Rel paying attacks at mid lane, just stealing away the cannon, even though it's not technically stealing. And what do you know, because the quicker rotate comes through from R7, they get onto this Herald. There's no real contest out from GAM. However, it's slowly coming through now, but it's way too late. And the Rift Herald is secured. Mid lane, that's going to be the Grand Entrance, locking up Miryu for a second, who has stole away the quickness. So this gank, this 2v2 fight, really good. It's immediately onto the Rel, forcing out the flash. Use the ignite. She re-engages or tries to with the crash down. Honestly, you didn't need to crash down there. You probably could have got away with all of it. As mid lane, that is a huge shutdown. Miryu oversteps, and you can tell by his reaction. He knows he messed up there. That was clean from Caddy. Even though it was basically a gimme. Though GAM were positioning to make that play. So that was overall very good from the Gigabyte Marines. As topside, all out comes through from the Cassante into the Cyclone. And what do you know? Levi gets the kill onto the Gwen. GAM fighting back across the map. Making plays as bot side. Rakan gonna knock up into the Adderall. But the bot lane of GAM backs away towards the safety of their tower. R7 starting to get a bit of a push here. And they could quite honestly look to crash this wave into the towers. Jarvan's in the area, so Herald can be used. GAM, well aware that this is a possibility, dropping a control ward into the brush so that Jarvan can't just drop it over the wall. Big important thing is Miryu is actually bullying Levi out of his own jungle, or trying to. A lot of investment from R7 to try and get an avenue down to place the Rift Herald. But in the end, it won't result in anything other than a bit of pressure in the spot lane tier 1. So we watch this. Scatter a week. I thought that would have hit, but essentially it's just orbs being stacked up and then popping the ult. There's no real explanation of that play. There, Bong just gets caught with a Q3 and then you can't do anything. When Cassante Q3 hits, you're dead. It's simple as in this stage of the game. Because chances are, if he's hitting you with that, he's got backup, and yeah. Just unexpected backup. And Bong forced to pay with a bit of a deficit now. 11 CS down. An assist on the other side of the rift in favor of Kiaya. And now, with how R7 are playing this, Jarvan in the area, they're threatening the dive. They're looking for it, obviously. They've got the Herald. They can drop this if needs be. Trying to get the Rift Herald plating. Cassante can go aggressive. He lands the Q3. The Scatter Weak also comes through as Caddy TP's top. Bot side, Slater's pushing the wave. But in the mid lane, Miryu also responds with his own pressure. And the Herald's actually going to be dropped down here. Everfrost tags Wukong, forces Cyclone out. But he is flagged and dragged up on. And the re-engage coming out from this GAM squad is able to get the kill. And it's a double kill. As in the backside, Cassante gets onto the bot lane. He is going all out with this aggression. Q3 lands. Flash out from the Gwen. And she inevitably falls. As here comes Kaiser, trading back one of the kills. Finally, R7 gets something back for themselves. But it's not enough, as GAM continuing to play aggressive. The Gigabyte Marines stacking up advantage across the map. They are turning up the tempo, and they're trying to get this game done quick before R7 have any chance of fighting. This here is a bit of a misplay from Levi, getting caught out on the tower, and it's then a bit too aggressive from R7. Diving the towers, or in between two towers, is just stupid, and they get punished for it. Here, it's just Cassante doing Cassante things. The Q3 luckily lands. It was a great denying path Q3 as well. It meant that Gwen was definitely dying there. And the follow-up from the rest of GAM just secured the kill. It was very, very efficient. What's more, the bot lane tier 1 fell in favor of GAM, as R7 have objective bounties 14 minutes into the game. That's a bit of a yikes, especially if you look at the lane economy snapshot as, uh-oh, Pallet gets caught out. But he isn't going to be punished by the catch out. He actually rushed Merc Treads, which is kind of a nice thing to do as a support. Especially when you're playing Rakan, you want to be able to avoid a lot of the extra CC. You want to be able to do all that you can do with the quickness. So this overall is a very nice pickup for him. Looking across at the rest of the items, we did mention it a few minutes ago, the Everfrost for Silas. He's looking to be a bit more utilitive with his itemization. Probably going for a bit more of a bulky build, as Khan getting caught out on the tower. Force of Flash as Cataclysm is used. 3 members are in that pit, but the tower dies. So R7 lose all safety. The Rakan ult is hijacked by the Silas, who goes aggressive and gets a shutdown. Re-engage though from GAM is huge, as Cassante is here. He's taking away the health bars, and GAM find 2 and inevitably have this push in the mid lane. They've got the option to go to Herald, but they're just looking at this tier 2. They're going to secure this objective for themselves. 3 minutes on the Drake, there's nothing really else to fight for. So you have to feel they're going to turn and burn to this objective. And what has actually happened is that 3k gold lead that GAM had put on has just ballooned to a 6k one. Jarvan getting caught out, trying to go into this river. The Liandry's burn, denying so much of that health. R7, gonna be honest, falling to pieces here, as this was way too aggressive from Pallet. He somehow survives for a long time. The quickness is used, and that kind of is a bit of a weird one because he doesn't get to utilize it fully. Here, with Silas coming through, he uses the quickness he stole, gets a lot of work down. However, all of R7 group up, and the feathers can be thrown out very easily into that clump, and GAM just get to slice their way through, use the feathers aggressively, and get themselves a nice juicy gold lead. Look at that damage coming out from Catty as well. When we last broke down GAM, I was very critical of him. This game, he's looking phenomenal, honestly. Yes, you could say he was gifted kills early, but he's doing good. This Syndra is so strong right now. That damage he did in the last fight basically won it out for him. He's got himself now the full Morello Nomicon. And he's also Leandri, so he's got a lot of, like, utility. It's more the utility-esque control mage build. It's not the burst mage that you know and love. That being said, he is going Magic Pen Boots. Probably going to go Void Staff 4th or 3rd item, technically. His bot side, Wukong Cycloning locks and knocks up the Gwen into the air, and the Scatter Weak lands. And Levi gets the execute off onto the Gwen. Honestly, could have solo boloed it there. As Cassante not going to fall prey to the play on the other side of the map, and this is just funny. Support versus ADC, and somehow the support is just doing wonders. Wow, this response from R7 is so slow. Look at how... I'm pausing here, but you look how GAM are positioning. You've got this rotate through. So Rakan and Xayah are hovering here. They're playing safe in the jungle, the fog of war. And they've got two other members here in the bot lane, just pushing freely with the Rift Herald. Cassante is 1v1ing the Sylas, so there's a player dragged out. You've got 2 members, or 3 members of R7 in the mid lane. And then Rel's the only one responding. So the support is trying to stop the mid and jungle of GAM. I'm not saying this is a misassignment, but the lane assignments coming out from R7 are A, delayed, and B, not the most effective. As Leon's forced to clear up the Herald, he secures that for himself, pulls the wave in for the Sylas. Why am I only counting 3 members on a Rift for? Wait, was Gwen dead when I was saying all that? Yeah, that explains a lot. I thought I miscounted, but because Gwen was dead, R7 didn't respond. Actually, the kill on the Gwen was in the bot lane. Why was there no response from R7 to roam down quicker? Because that Herald crash just came freely through. It felt way too slow from R7 there. And because of slowness of their plays, only just getting to the river, the Drake just getting to below half its HP. As that's the Hexgate coming through. Sylas dodges out from Scattered Weak, but he is jumped on, dove on. The quickness is used. He gets a shutdown. As the follow-up comes through, Darrell is using the Magnet Storm, getting Levi low, who's trying to keep himself alive. The Gwen doing work, but she's not able to get the kill. In the end, she's forced to flash back over the wall, but Slater kills her off. As the flank, Levi, he's caught out the Rel. He's not going to be punished for it, though. And he's just playing aggressive. He's healed up back to a half its HP as Cassante goes way too aggressive. Gets shut down in the process. Levi forced to jump over the wall. But Slater, he's free firing. He's remaining untouched. Miryu, he can go aggressive here. Look for a fight. R7, get some scraps back into this game. But look, they're being shepherded. They're being herded back to this bot lane. They're not able to stay around. They're going back to their base. And Drake goes over to GAM. They're on to Soul Point. And Baron, you have to feel, is next eyes of the prize for them. This here, great from Miryu. Dodging out of the Scatter Weak. Sure, he gets hit by the quickness. So does the Gwen. But actually, it's Seo who gets caught out. But they get the kill. They shut down Catty. And this fight overall, R7 get a lot of gold. Sure, they lose to Gwen. But they get themselves the kill onto the Cassante and the kill onto the Syndra. 2 massive shutdowns. Both going on to the right targets, honestly. As I believe the Kaiser got the first one. And we already know Miryu got the second. So, personally, I think this is a huge, I do mean huge, boon for R7. Sure, they give up Drake, but they've clawed some of the gold back. And Now, bit of an issue for them is GAM starting up the Baron. It is in vision, and R7 collapsing quick. 4 members here. They've got the flank coming out from the Gwen, but the engage comes through to Rakan. He locks up the Jarvan, shutting him down as Slater gets onto the rampage. In the backline is the Wukong cycloning through, but here is the Gwen caught out, killed off. Slater gets the double. R7 forced to retreat. The Q3 lands, and that's the triple. Rel is down. The Jarvan is down, and so's the Gwen. Baron is in the sights of the Gigabyte Marines. 6-0-2. We talked about early game and how GAM possibly could roam down to the bot side and make plays after a early investment into the Cassante. Well, they didn't invest into the Cassante at all. They've invested heavily into this Xayah. 2v2 kill early, landing a lot of damage throughout all these team fights. And here, it certainly came to fruition with her picking up this triple kill. The amount of damage she can do as mid lane Kiaya caught out under tower. Cataclysm also used. Bit of a weird one there from Oddie. Kind of an odd play if you ask me. He isn't able to get a kill for his team, and R7 just back it up. Why not? You have to be a bit more safe. Anyway, as we see the two teams just getting to the stage of the game where it's dominant from GAM. We said about how we wanted them to essentially speed the game up, force a snowball, not allow the scaling to come through for the Sylas and the Gwen. They've certainly done that. They've shut them down early, and I'm going to be brutally honest, they've done the work needed to get to this stage of the game. Now, I personally think that what we are seeing is a very strong comp as Rakan gets denied the quickness. Not going to tag onto anyone. Flash is not even burnt. The Ignite was used by Leon's, but that is it. TP comes through from the Cassante to deny the Gwen push. And now R7 trying to claim back areas of this map. Trying to do work. They need to stop the backs so that they get more time pressing out the waves to get maybe at least one objective bounty. However, they're not quick enough. GAM get back to the mid lane and are able to actually deny any form of play. There we go. I'm back to being mini. There we go. Sorry, I just was having to fix something. Anyway, oh yikes. You messed the steal. Shame. 6 seconds until the Hex Soul is up. This is the objective that defines the game. It somehow come down to this. If GAM get this, they have Hextech Soul. The mass amount of damage they can do as Rakan use his W, but that Scatter of the Week killed the Jarvan. Deleted. The needlework though is huge, but the engage from R7 is thwarted. GAM get everything and ace out the LLA representative. Overall, that was a clean fight. They've got themselves Soul to boot. GAM on the victory march here. Levi tanking the tower in the mid lane. It's not needed as the top lane, the wave is crashing into the Nexus towers already. This game 1 is going to GAM as they finally show up here at the World Championships when it matters most. As a whole, that was a good game. It felt close. I'm Minnie again. Hi. Minnie. There we go. Yeah, don't worry. I'm going to fix this. There we go. As a whole, very, very good game from GAM. I've got to give a lot of credit over to Caddy. He certainly outperformed what I expected of him. And as such, we now get to go into Game 2. Renewed hope for the Gigabyte Marines. Here we go. We're doing it on GOL, like normal. Game 2. Let's discuss it. GAM won it. The band's interesting, to say the least. Same things coming out from them in game as game number 1. No, it's not. The Sedge ban. Was something they banned in game 1? I don't remember them banning that. Anyway. Poppy, Akali also banned. The LeBlanc's the only new ban for the Gigabyte Marines. Response from Movistar, fairly the same. Jarvan being removed was something they didn't do. They banned Vi last time. And Ken is also a new ban. Lee Sin was also removed. So yeah, there's a lot of changes in how draft went. But yeah, let's look at it. Because it was a 31-minute game. I'm pretty sure past 10 minutes, the game just flipped in favor of GAM. Because it will look quite close up until that point. Well, to here. This is where GAM started to put an advantage about 14-15 minutes into the game. And I'm assuming... No. I was assuming that essentially it was a Herald play, but they didn't secure the first Herald. It was actually R7 who did that. So, I think the most important thing to look at is Slater 9-2 and 5, and then Kiaya 6-2 and 7. I was looking at this graph here, at the damage distribution, and it's just Jax doing so much damage. I think this is the first game at this tournament where I actually know BDS, Adams, Darius in game 1 was essentially just the carry for his team. But this is one of them weird games where top carries. And yeah. Top carries. So the investment was tops bot side. Then into the top lane. Yeah. Let's look at this. Let's look at the 15-minute fight. That's what we're to do, is look at an occasional fight. Because it looks interesting. We don't need to watch this one. Okay, so 14 minutes in. I'm just going to skip ahead because there'll be a replay for that one. There we go. So, we'll come out of this replay. This overall is just chase downs from Manova committing R7. The rel does work in denying any sort of play. A great Q out from Levi's Vi. Just because killers. We come back to live. 15 minutes on the clock. We know Jax gets a triple here. But, there we go. But, how does the rest of the team fight go? It's a pick, isn't it? Miryu gets scattered a week. Forced to burn all his sums and also Spirit Rush. That's a yikes. Everything burn on the mid laner. Now GAM can set up a play as Lee Sin gets caught out, jumped on, counter-strike. Bottom half of the fight, Kaiser kills off Desire. But the top half of the fight is a 3v2, now a 3v3. It's a lot of dashing about by the R7 squad, trying to keep themselves in the play. But it's engaged. The Herald's in the side, the Magnet Storm. Huge, pulling in the right targets. Jax is just jumping on them. He's just buying time. There's a quickness out from the Rakan. But he isn't the one to fall. Caddy gets the kill. Scatterweak lands. Oh, Miri, you have no escape tools after that one. Gets Blastcomb back into GAM. Clean fight from the VCS squad. Jax also backed away. He didn't want to go for that either. So we watch it. I want to focus on how Slater dies. Assume it's Spirit Rush. Charm lands. Knocked up, rooted, killed. He's just hit by everything. Then on this side, Lee Sin's the target. Salt and Batteried through. Counter-strike stuns him, so he gets taken low. He jumps to the Rift Herald as Bong goes all out. And then it's just jumping around from R7. Oddie steps into the pit, which is weird. He's now going to just die. Rel gets in. And Rel does her job in pulling in targets. Jax was able to just kill off Cassante by focusing him down. And then, yeah, it's just a chase down on the kills. It's very clean from the Marines, who just do everything right, I think is the easy way to word it. And that's game 2 in a nutshell. I think... How did Caddy end this game? 4-2-9. Okay, it's not the worst. He did more than his opposition. That's the right way to word it. Anyway, thank you for watching the first game of the day. We've got one more series to break down. I'm really looking forward to it. BDS and DFM. Second eliminator game. I'll see you in a couple minutes once I've got changed and into